Well, thanks everyone for joining us on the Easter Bake-Along. This evening we're going to make Easter egg cheesecakes, as I think you know, because you've hopefully got all your ingredients ready. In true Blue Peter style, here is some I made earlier, just to kind of show you what they might come out like. So we're going to make some later with little, what they call mini eggs on and a bunny. I've just done some ideas for toppings for later. We're also going to do the strawberry with white chocolate drizzle and Biscoff crumb. And then if you want something just really easy, you can just chuck on a biscuit and put some drizzle on it and it still looks quite good. So they're very easy to decorate. So the recipe is designed to fill, I've got a large shell, so your 2 halves, so it'll fill your 2 halves of a large shell or 4 small ones. So it depends on the size of Easter egg you've got. They don't seem to come in standard size, and often you've got no idea what size they are till you take them out of all the packaging. And sometimes that can be a disappointment because you think they're big and they're actually not. So they are classed as sharing desserts. So the ingredients you've got should serve 4 portions. But there's no judgment here if they don't, and we certainly don't like sharing desserts in our house.
They taste very nice on your own though, don't they?
Yeah.
Fill a hole.
So you should hopefully have all your ingredients ready to go and your biscuits bashed. If not, wave frantically and we can give you an extra minute to do that.
Who's not bashed their biscuits? Anyone? They're all well behaved. Very
all bashed and ready to go, eh?
Don and Tyrion still need to catch up. There we are. And Laura.
Oh, do we need to wait a minute for some biscuit bashing?
Oh, they can catch up, I'm sure. Here's ours.
Okay. Fab. So in front of me, I've just got my mixer. You'll need your mixer, and I've got a couple of bowls and a couple of empty things as well, because we will need to separate ingredients, and then everything else is measured out. And I've also just got a few utensils, just a couple of spoons, a sharp knife. You'll need a sharp knife if you haven't separated your Easter egg. And I've got a spatula, but a knife will do just to level the top. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is separate your Easter egg, and this is the trickiest bit of the night. Some of them are very much glued. Oh, you've done it already, Jessie, well done. So if you open up your egg and it's glued together, so that you don't break it, it's worth just running a sharp knife like all the way around quite gently a couple of times, and then going in and trying to separate it. But I was too nervous to do that on camera earlier, so I pre-did mine in case I broke it and then had nothing to make.
Oh. Do you know, we had a disaster. I broke ours, and then I discovered Cadbury's have them already separated.
I didn't know that either, but I was looking for one that did. So we've got our 2 halves of Easter egg ready to go. So are people just trying to separate theirs? I'll just give you a minute to do that. I don't want anyone rushing this part.
Everyone show your half eggs. Hey. Anyone had an accident?
What, cut their finger off?
Hopefully not.
I hope no one's cut their finger off. Might add to the flavour.
We good to go?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So first thing to do really is melt the butter. I've got 20 grams of butter ready to go. About a minute in the microwave. Okay. And just while that's going, we've got about 25 grams of chocolate, which is about 5 squares in a bowl. And as soon as the butter comes out, I'll put the chocolate in for 2 minutes, and then that gives it time to cool. You should have a nice empty bowl to put your crumbs and your butter in.
I think our butter just exploded everywhere, so we've got some microwave cleaning to do at the end of the night. There we are.
Are you using Marge?
No, using butter. Oh. I think a minute was too long for us. Okay. There we are.
So my butter is done now, and the chocolate is going in for about 2 minutes probably to melt that. So it can be milk chocolate or dark chocolate, whatever you've got. Okay, now with your Biscoff crumbs, you need to take about a tablespoon out and put it in a cup, in another little bowl. That's just for decorating later. So I'm just taking a little bit out of my mix. Wasn't supposed to go in that bowl. And I'm going to, in an empty bowl, I'm going to put my Biscoff crumbs and the melted butter and just give it a good mix.
Marie, how long was it for the chocolate?
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes should do it.
You might press on your microwave though.
So the butter goes in with the Biscoff now?
Yeah, put your melted butter just in with the biscuit crumbs and give it a good mix till it's all mixed through.
Show you what we're doing as well. There we go. Yeah, we took a spoonful out, don't worry. And mix it together. Go on then, Jessie. You see our mixing going on. How's everyone getting on? Thumbs up if you're doing all right. Well, they're all busy mixing. They can't give thumbs up. Give it a good mix, Jess.
Used a bit less butter than in a normal cheesecake for the base, because I think with it being in a chocolate shell, it would probably be very hard if you were trying to bite your way through hard biscuit and hard chocolate shell. So it's quite a crummy base.
Melted.
You've mixed that through. You can, if you half fill, however many shells you've got, if you've got 4 small, oh, it's my chocolate.
Please. You want to check?
Okay, just giving my chocolate a bit of a mix to make sure it's smooth, and then put it to the side just to cool down a little bit. So with the biscuit crumbs, however many shells you've got, if you half fill each shell with the biscuit crumbs, and just smooth it down as firm as you can with the back of the spoon. How's everyone getting on?
No, 2 minutes. How's everyone getting on then? Has everyone melted their chocolate?
try 1.5 minutes with your chocolate. If you think 2 minutes might be too long, it very much depends on your microwave. So your Easter eggs should be half full and nice and flat, the crumb, and then that needs to go in the fridge or in the freezer just for 10 minutes, wherever you've got some room.
Oh, into the fridge or freezer. Should we get a plate? Let's be hygienic. There we are. We'll pop them in. How are the redwoods getting on? Have you done yours? Fantastic. Thumbs up there in the fridge. What about Tyrion and John? Are yours in the fridge? Way, fantastic. I can see, Lizzie, have you got yours in the fridge? I see Evan hanging around in the background. I think he's after the finished product. Mark's looking very, very studious there, working hard. Into the fridge they go.
Okay. Ready for the next bit? What are you eating, Jessie?
The crumbs.
We need those for decoration. Right, so, does anyone need us to wait, or are you all good to go? Give a wave, a frantic wave if you're desperate for us to slow down. Great, I think we're good. We're good, Marie. Keep going.
We're good to go. Okay. And then we're going to add 230 grams of Philadelphia. So I've got 300 here. So I'm just going to add most of it to a bowl.
That's into a mixing bowl, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Here we go. Weighing scales.
Oh, just guess it.
Just guess?
Yeah.
Got to be accurate about this. Have we got any guesses in the audience? People who just guess how much ingredients to put in?
How much do we need?
I like to weigh it out carefully.
How much do we need?
Whole tub.
The whole tub.
So you'll need 230 grams.
A bit more of another one. Apparently something's on fire in our kitchen.
Oh dear.
It said on my tub it was supposed to be 200 grams, but I've weighed it out, 176. I've been shortchanged here.
Stop.
A bit extra cream in, no one will know.
We got another tub, don't worry. There we are.
Okay, so you've got your 230 grams of Philadelphia, and then you need to add 60 grams of caster sugar into the bowl as well. Okay, how's everyone doing?
So Philadelphia in the bowl, then the sugar.
60 grams of caster sugar.
Yeah.
A good squeeze of lemon needs to go in as well, just to make sure it's not too sweet. And also half a teaspoon of vanilla essence or vanilla extract, whatever you've got. Again, I'm just guessing that.
Teaspoon of that. That's about a teaspoon. Well done, Jessie.
Okay, and then it's once you've done that, it's time to mix it.
Wow.
We're just going to mix it for literally a couple of minutes, not long at all, and then we'll add the cream. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to add, let me check, 140 mils of double cream. So I've got 300 here, so I'm just going to add about half.
Very experimental, Marie. About half.
I never exactly follow a recipe. And then you need to mix that till it's nice and thick.
It's a funny noise when you do that, almost like you're underwater, Marie. You can't hear me.
Okay, how's everyone doing? All good? Right, if you've mixed your double cream in, you need a separate bowl now, and you need to put about 1/3 of the cheesecake mixture into a separate bowl. So just a dollop of the cheesecake mixture into a separate bowl, and then you're going to add in the melted chocolate.
We're running out of bowls in our house. I'm on Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol. So 1/3 in one bowl.
Yeah, 1/3 of your vanilla cheesecake mix in one bowl, and then you add in your melted chocolate, and you just give it a mix.
So melted chocolate to the smaller bowl.
Yeah, into your 1/3 of vanilla cheesecake, and it just means when you cut into the eggshells to share, it just gives a bit of contrast really for the colour.
Lovely. How's everyone getting on at home? Are you managing all right? Thumbs up all round in between mixing and whisking, and very good. I've got an assistant and I'm even struggling to follow instructions, but I think that might be to do with my nature. Struggle to follow instruction.
There we are. That's good.
Last week when I was trying this, instead of the melted chocolate, I added in a tablespoon of Biscoff spread, and that was really nice as well. But I thought I better not change the recipe like a couple of days before. So I thought I'll just stick with the chocolate. So hopefully you should have a nice smooth cheesecake mix that looks a bit chocolatey. If you've used dark chocolate, it'll be a bit darker than if you've used milk chocolate like I have. That just depends on your preference, what you prefer. And then you need to get your eggshells out of the fridge or the freezer. Okay, now you need to divide the chocolate mix into cells. So put it on top of the Biscoff and just
spread it carefully.
Move it down.
You want to take the crumbs up with it. Oh.
Sorry. How do I get it?
Don't worry, just spread it down. Use a small spoon, that's it.
Don't forget you need to leave some room for your vanilla topping as well. So depending on the size of the eggs you have, there might be a little bit left over.
It tastes amazing.
No, take that off, yeah? And then take that out.
We're not on mute, by the way.
Everyone managed to kind of roughly half fill in smooth the first layer? How are you getting on? I'm trying to have a look.
Tricky to keep the crumbs from coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Easy to get them caught. There we are. I think we've got one done.
Well done. Great, yeah.
Here's our second one. You smooth this out.
The crumbs are up.
Oh, the crumbs are up.
Oh,
again.
Oh, so hard.
You finish it?
Yeah.
You're pressing too hard. These are delicate touch, this one.
Yeah. Very good. Well done.
There we go. Lovely jubbly.
Oh, this tastes amazing.
Lick it then, go on. Enjoy it.
So the next part is completely optional, depending on taste. But when I've made these before, I just felt it needed a little bit more texture in the middle. So I've got a crunchy, which I think was on the ingredients. You got a crunchy? And I'm just going to chop it up into smallish pieces and just scatter some on top of the chocolate cheesecake layer. And that'll be sandwiched in between the chocolate and the vanilla layer. So it's up to you whether you think it needs it. Some of the smaller shells that don't have as much cheesecake filling, you might not need it, but I think some of the bigger shells that get quite deep in the middle, it's nice to have a different texture in there.
So we're basically creating like crunchy shards,
Yeah.
Crumbs to this bit.
Yeah, because they will dissolve a little bit into the cheesecake mix. So you might not want them too thin. It just gives some nice crunchy pieces in the middle.
Lovely. Come on then, sprinkle it on. Keep going. Of course, if you bought a multi-pack of crunchies, then you get to eat one of them later, which is a nice treat.
Yeah, so it's just, there we are. Doing a great job. And then the last bit, before they have to go in the fridge and before we need to decorate, is just dividing the rest of your vanilla mix between your shells, whether that's 1, 2, or 4, however many you've got. And you probably need a spatula or a sharp knife or something to level it off, because you want them to look nice and flat.
Enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just keep dolloping. Just splodge it on and I'll smooth it out. That's fine, don't worry, don't worry.
Oh, there I see it. She's in here before.
I can hear you. Keep going.
Please.
Is everyone scooping theirs on? And see what you're all doing. Very nice. Not really.
I'm trying to get it off.
Right.
It won't come off.
There we go. Is there more there?
Yeah, there's more.
Although we've got ours.
I'm not sure.
Really full.
Ours are not very full.
Oh, just some ours.
That's right.
You haven't put the white on yet, and ours is full. Oh, I think I've done the other way round. I think I've
That's
done...
fine.
Yeah.
Any more left?
Yeah, loads left.
Go on, dollop it on.
If you've got any plasterers or anyone good at plastering, they should have a nice smooth top. For anyone else, it's probably a bit messy.
No, now don't do that. We're behind. But sprinkle the...
There we are. Ours are not quite up to the rim, but there we go.
Have you run out of mix?
Sorry?
Have you run out of mix?
Well, we can scrape it. It's fine. They're full enough.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit left.
Oh, pass it over. If only. You're very good at politely laughing at my terrible jokes, Marie.
Oh,
so
torture.
I'm told I'm being cringy from the other end of the room, but there we are.
I'm just going to clean off the edges of my shell with any extra cheesecake mix, just so they look a bit tidier for decorating. And then they're ready to go into the fridge for 10-15 minutes before we decorate. Okay.
Want to take them to the fridge then?
Yeah.
Great. Well, the mixture tastes delicious already.
Yeah.
How's everyone getting on, all right?
Mega full.
I'm going to put mine in the fridge.
You've got a very light screen. You can barely see this. Right, who's popping them in the fridge? Right, we've got Tori is in the fridge, not herself. She's throwing things in there. Who else is Tyrion? Have you done? Thumbs up from Tyrion and John. Well done, very good. And Carol and Jim. Is Jim actually joining you? Is he hidden away somewhere? No. Are you done, Carol? Brilliant. Well done. In the fridge already. I see Lizzie licking a spoon, so that's a good sign that she's done. Excellent. Does anyone need us to slow down a second?
Yes. Yes.
You need us to slow down, Margaret, or are you all right? One more minute for Margaret, just to catch up. And everyone else just to finish. The other side of the room here, Kaz and Summer, they're just finishing off.
Ours are really full.
They've overfilled theirs, so I'm not sure.
You can use some of their extra cheesecake mix then.
Well, they had extra everything, so they're bulging. Mind you, their eggshells were slightly smaller than ours were, so...
Yeah, it's very dependent on the size of your Easter egg because it's hard to gauge.
There we are. Great. Margaret, have you caught up now? Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Great. Well, we're going to leave those in the fridge for now, aren't we, Marie?
Yep. And I think, they just need a few minutes and then we can think about decorating. Fantastic.
So I'll let you have a little bit of a rest. I'll pop you on mute there and remove your pin because we are joined by a special guest tonight who has come all the way from Worcester tonight. Laura, let me ask you to unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
Great. Hi.
Hi, Laura. Great to see you. Now, you're not a stranger to these parts of the world across the border in Wales. In fact, that's how you would identify your nationality, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. I am Welsh. I happen to have been born in Southampton, but to Welsh parents, and I grew up in Cardiff. So it's great to be feeling like I'm in Wales, even though I'm in Worcester.
Fantastic. And what took you to Worcester? What are you doing? Why are you in Worcester rather than Cardiff?
Yeah, good question. So we're in Worcester because my husband Owen is a vicar in a church in the city centre in Worcester. So we moved here coming up to 7 years ago now for him to start his job here, having not really even heard of Worcester before. And now we've been here for nearly 7 years. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And what keeps you busy most weeks? What do you busy yourself doing?
What keeps me busy? So we've got 3 young kids. So given the last few months of homeschooling, they've kept me very busy. So mainly with them, doing bits and pieces involved with church as well here and there. But mostly the last few years have been kept busy by my little ones.
There we go. Fantastic. And Laura, we got to give away, I've been told I've got to give away how we know each other. So how long have you known me, should we say?
I guess I have known you from the very beginning of my life, from my earliest days, Johnny. I mean, technically, I probably knew you before I was born, when I was in my mother's tummy, because my mum and Johnny's mum are sisters. So Johnny is my cousin.
And that will give away who is the younger cousin. We have to give it away because, I mean, you can't tell just by looking at us, can you?
Thanks, pal. That's kind.
Anyway, Laura, we've asked you to come and join us just to share with us for a few minutes some brief reflections on Easter. So I'm going to shut up now and let you have the floor. So thank you very much for joining us, and it's over to you, Laura.
Great. Thanks so much, Johnny. And it's really good to be with you this evening. Thanks so much. Marie, that was brilliant. Really enjoyed doing that. I've moved out of the chaos of the kitchen into a different room because it's looking quite chaotic. And I'm not convinced that mine is going to turn out to look quite like yours, but I've given it a go. Actually, my maiden name was Laura Baker. So I guess somewhere down the line, baking must be in my genes, but I sometimes find that there's something unnerving about baking, that sense in which you're never quite 100% sure how it's going to turn out. Don't know whether anyone else this evening can identify with that. Maybe those who like to guess the ingredients, as Johnny was asking. Now, I'm sure some expert bakers usually always get their desired taste and texture and finish to their bakes, because they've been honing their skills, they've been practicing. Basically, they just know how to bake. But I have even heard famous bakers like Mary Berry or Paul Hollywood from the Great British Bake Off. Don't know if anyone has seen any of that, talk about this whole thing of the risk and uncertainty in baking, that feeling of never quite knowing what the end result or the outcome is going to be. That moment where you open the oven door and against all the odds and in spite of your best efforts, the cake is flat. Or where you have experimented a bit too much with citrus fruits, or where you've made a courgette cake, and even though your kid told you because it's a green vegetable, it's not going to taste half as good as your chocolate cake usually does, and it doesn't. Baking can be uncertain. There is an element of the whole, I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out. But something that helped me with this recently was something I actually heard from the 18-year-old finalist of the Great British Bake Off last year, Peter. And his advice is a bit bizarre, but was listen to your cakes. I don't know whether anyone else heard him say that. I actually did this the other day, took a cake out the oven and put it to my ear. And my husband, Owen, thought I was going crazy. But honestly, it's a brilliant way if you want to double check if your cake is ready. If it's kind of too noisy in your cake, then you know there's still some more baking that needs to be done. But if it's relatively still, then you know you don't actually need to check it with a fork in the middle. It's baked and it's ready to go. Uncertainty of baking, then, one expert says, listen to your cakes. And that feeling of uncertainty, of not quite knowing how something is going to turn out, is something we experience quite a lot in life. And right now, in the midst of a global pandemic, it's a feeling which comes with a lot of fragility and vulnerability, where perhaps this last 12 COVID months, we've all felt more than normal, that feeling of, I'm just not quite sure how this is going to turn out. Where maybe we've wondered, how's it going to look in the next few weeks, in the next year? And 2020 and 2021 has been hard. There's been lots of sadnesses and losses. And maybe in our own lives, we've known more uncertainty than at any other time before in our lives. But right now, things are opening up a bit. Lockdown is easing. We've got these roadmaps. And it feels fitting that this is all happening at this time of year, in spring. I love this time of year, as spring breaks and suddenly you start to see a bit more colour. I start to see it as I'm walking my kids to school, the flowers popping up in the local park, in our garden. And I love this time of year because it starts to get warmer and lighter. And I love this time of year because as a Christian, Easter is when I especially remember that into all of my moments during the pandemic of, I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out, Jesus Christ brings certain hope. At this time of year, as the church, we particularly remember that at a specific moment in human history, through Jesus Christ's death and resurrection, God brought lasting and certain hope to the world, to a world that's unsure, to a world that's not quite sure how things are going to turn out. Into all of our uncertainty, Easter is the time of year which says, actually, here's how it turns out. In Jesus, there is new life and hope, even beyond death. Something which spring points to. So to the uncertainty of the world, we're invited to listen to spring. One of my favourite bits in the Bible is from John's Gospel, which is one of the 4 biographies that we have of the life of Jesus. And chapter 11 of John's Gospel is definitely one of those chapters full of this sort of, I don't quite know how it's gonna all turn out. And it's in a quite serious, high stakes sort of way. At the start of chapter 11, Jesus's friend Lazarus is ill, and Lazarus's sisters Mary and Martha and his friends are worried. And by the time Jesus arrives at Lazarus's house, Lazarus has died. And Martha, heartbroken at losing her brother, she runs towards Jesus because she knows that where Jesus is, there is hope. She's seen him heal the sick. She's heard him speak about God's love, about eternal life. She's been with him to see his kindness, and she's heard him say that he is God in the flesh, God in a person come to earth. And Jesus speaks into Martha's uncertainty, into all of her, I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out. Jesus invites Martha to listen to his words. And in verse 25 of chapter 11, I'm reading from this bit of John's Gospel, Jesus says to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is coming into the world. In the face of uncertainty and even death, Jesus speaks these words of certain hope, that in him is provision, in him is future, in him is hope, come what may, in him is life, even beyond the grave. As I've just said, I grew up in Cardiff. My parents are Welsh, my grandparents are Welsh, I married a Welshman, and we gave our 3 kids Welsh names. But I've been in England for probably over a decade now. And as I mentioned, I grew up in Southampton, and the English are sneaky. They've stolen my Welsh accent. You might be able to hear it a little bit coming through, but it's mainly gone. And I can see some heads shaking there, who, for people with strong Welsh accents, are like, no, can't hear it at all. Sad. But anyway, not too far from where I grew up in Cardiff, there was this big restaurant. Anyone remember those? Remember restaurants? Yeah, back in the day. Not long, and we'll soon be able to return to them. But in this one restaurant in Cardiff, there was this massive soft play for kids, meaning that adults could kind of sit and enjoy a meal together, and kids could enjoy the ball pool, the climbing wall, the slides and everything. And there was this one time in Cardiff where we were in this restaurant with this soft play. I was with my family, and I did this big jump into the ball pool. And I'm not quite sure how I managed it, but I managed to submerge myself so much underneath the ball pool in the midst of these balls that I couldn't get out. And from above me, I heard my dad's voice saying, Laura, it's okay, I'm coming in. In our moments of uncertainty, in those moments where you just don't quite know how it's going to work out, we need to hear words that reassure us. And more than that, we need to hear words from someone who can step in and rescue us. And I believe, and many across the world believe, that this is what Jesus Christ did in human history. The creator of the universe stepped in to bring hope. And what if we're thinking, well, that all sounds like a nice idea, but it sounds a bit too detached from the real world and, you know, spring and picture perfect. Well, I can tell you that being a Christian isn't about suddenly everything being easy or being predictable, or that you just have to kind of shut your eyes and close off your ears to the hardships of life and just think yourself some happy thoughts. And one of the things I love most about that chapter from John's Gospel that I read from is how gritty and real and honest it is. There are tears, even from Jesus. There are doubts, there are questions, anger, disappointment, all in that chapter. And Jesus says, I get your sadness and I feel it, and I'm here to do something about it. And it's worth taking a look at that chapter if you haven't before, to see what Jesus does. Christian hope, Easter hope, isn't a wish for the best sort of hope, which denies the reality of pain and sadness in the world. That wouldn't be any good, and it wouldn't appeal to me. Being a Christian doesn't mean that I'm exempt from moments of going, eek, how is this going to turn out? But it does mean that I know that ultimately I'm safe and secure. Christian hope, you see, isn't a concept, it's a person, Jesus Christ, who we can know for ourselves. Jesus, who takes seriously the sadness and brokenness, and Jesus, who through his death for the wrong in us and the wrong in this world, and through his resurrection brings ultimate peace and hope and life, even beyond the grave, for all who would believe. And Martha, in John chapter 11, gets asked that question by Jesus. I don't know whether you heard it when I read it earlier. Martha, Jesus says, what do you think about all this? And I wonder this evening, what do you think about all this? If you're anything like me, then you're going to want to take a look more at the Bible. You'll have questions and thoughts and friends you can ask. But I've come to believe that this is true, and that in the ups and downs of life, I can turn to God in prayer, know the help of his Holy Spirit here and now, and having listened to his words which speak to my uncertainty, I can know that ultimately with him there is life forever and certain hope.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Laura. That was really helpful. That was a great reflection on Easter. Let me unpin your video, but we really appreciate you being with us and joining us tonight. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
If you want to give some thought to that further, we'd encourage you to join along with our Easter Sunday celebration, which you'll be able to find on YouTube on Easter Sunday itself. So if you'd like to join us on Easter Sunday, then just go to YouTube, find our YouTube channel. If you can spell it, there's the extra challenge. Pontedrin BC is our YouTube channel. But if you just go to our website, you can find us there. And if you'd like to ask us any further questions, then do get in touch with me. If you go to our website and /hello, that will give you an opportunity to ask any questions. So that's pbce.org.uk/hello. If you want to ask Laura a question, I'm sure I can forward those questions to her as well. I'm sure she'd be very happy to answer any questions you have to ask. Well, that should take us right up until the time that our Easter egg cheesecakes are ready to take out of the fridge and to have decorated. So Marie, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and we're back to you to take us through the next stage of things.
Hey, thanks for that, Laura. That was really good. You can now get your cheesecakes out the fridge or the freezer, wherever you put them.
Everyone's making a mad dash for them. How far away your fridge is?
Okay, and then we need about 25 grams of white chocolate, which is, in my book, about 5 little squares if you've got white chocolate, or you can use milk chocolate, whichever you prefer. It's only just to decorate the strawberries. I always think the white chocolate looks nice. So I'm just gonna put that in the microwave for probably, it takes a little bit less than the dark chocolate. So I'll probably put it in for about a minute and a half. See how that looks. while that's melting, you can get your mini eggs, and we'll do the other shell.
You've got minstrels. Yeah,
I'm just going to decorate around the bottom of my shell, and this is a bigger one, so it'll take more eggs. But you can decorate however you like. And if yours are sharing ones, you might want to put some eggs up the other end as well. Otherwise, there might be a fight who gets which end of the egg.
Should we do eggs and strawberries? Go on, you do it, yeah.
Should I put them around the edge and then put strawberries in the middle?
However you want to do it.
What do yours after?
Do I get mini eggs as well?
Yeah.
They're all spaced out spots. I was thinking like I can really get this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the eggs at the bottom method. Here we are.
I mean, overlapping. Or set this like random spot.
You sure?
Nice eggs. Where are you from?
Don't know.
Our egg.
Got gold on them.
We had
Oh, you've got some as well, right next to you.
no, they're minstrels.
Don't
We
mind.
got them from our egg.
We're almost arguing over the eggs already, Marie.
The chocolate ready. So mine took about 1.5 minutes. And then with your bunny, you've got a bunny or something else to decorate with. I'm just going to stick that along the top, and we have our first one done.
Great job, Marie. Looking good.
Right, nice people getting on with the first one. With the second one, if you've still got your Biscoff crumbs that you set aside from earlier, I'm going to use a spatula to just to corner off, just so I get a nice straight line, but you can use a knife or anything like that, and then just sprinkle the crumbs along the edge of the knife. Might need to pat it down a little bit so that they stick and don't all fall off.
Do you want some Biscoff?
Yeah. Hey guys, do you want some of our chocolate eggs? We have these.
Get some more. Want these? No.
Got any chocolate eggs?
Okay, and then with your strawberry, and I've just got a teaspoon and the white chocolate, and I'm doing nothing fancy, just drizzling that along. My white chocolate's gone a bit lumpy, I don't actually know why. Doesn't usually. There we go, and I'm going to set one of them on. Because my shells are quite big, I'm going to do 2.
Wow. Feels like better.
Now I've left my strawberry leaves on.
Yeah, me too. They're easier to hold.
Yeah.
It's easier to hold if you leave the strawberry.
Can you eat strawberry leaves though?
I probably won't, but the rabbit likes them.
I'm gonna have to pull those off before gobbling it down tomorrow then.
And there we have the second one. So I don't know how everyone else's are looking.
Well done, Marie, looking good. How's everyone else getting on? Who's finished? Who's going to show their egg? Right, Redwoods, would you like to show us your egg? Wow. Oh, fantastic. Lots of mini eggs on that one. Oh,
nice.
Great job. Lovely. And who else is going to show? Well, we got some biscuit spread in the redwoods. Oh, Tyrion, very nice, lovely egg there. Lots of mini eggs on that. Great job. Who else wants to show? Mark. Oh, well done, Mark. Very good. We'll make a chef of you one day. Oh, very good, Lizzie. Excellent job. Oh, and Margaret's got hers with a bunny sticking out of that.
Nice.
Great. Oh, very good, Kaz and Summer. Really good. Oh, very good, Sarah. And is it Mark with Sarah? I've forgotten your name. Very good. And lots of white drizzle going on there. Oh, Margaret, nice big plump strawberries perched on there. Very good. Whose haven't we seen? We haven't shown ours yet. Here's mine and Jessie's.
Oh, nice.
Ta-da. There we go.
Very good.
There we are. And there's Laura's. Very good. Eggs on the outside, strawberries on the middle. Has anyone else made one and not shown it off yet? Makes me wonder if we should have a voting and see who's the best. We'll kick someone off each week, shall we? And
if you don't want your eggs rolling around the plate, if you've got any melted chocolate left, you can actually just put a blob of melted chocolate and then on the plate, and they should stay a bit stiller if you don't want them rolling around. They'll probably need about another hour in the fridge. If you can wait that long, they might still be a little bit soft, but they can last in the fridge up to about 2 days, so you don't have to eat them straight away.
Fantastic. Is anyone eating theirs tonight? Some of you. I think we're saving ours till tomorrow.
No, eat one of them.
Oh, apparently we're going to be eating one of them tonight.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll see. We'll see.
This can be the trial run for next weekend.
Fantastic. Great, Marie. Are we all done?
We're all done.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Maria. Really appreciate you taking us through that. You've done a stellar job of explaining every step of the way, and even me and Mark managed to follow along. So I think that's quite something if we've managed it. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Really appreciate it. Great to have you joining us, and we run events from time to time, as many of you know, so do try and join in at any occasion. And as I said, don't forget to join us on Easter Sunday itself. Thank you again to Laura for taking some time out to join us especially as well. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. So everyone can give a wave on your cameras, and then we'll end the meeting. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.